What if I told you you could beat Terraria in this world? There would be nothing besides what you can see on screen here. Let me explain. Terraria is an open-world adventure game where you spawn in a world littered with many naturally generated structures like the dungeon and jungle temple. There is a vast array of biomes that can spawn in the generation. Each world features at least one desert, tundra, jungle, corruption, plus the vast cave system beneath. So what if we remove over 99% of the blocks in the world? One of Minecraft's most downloaded maps of all time is Skyblock. It is a widely known challenge across Minecraft's community, and with the inevitable similarities of the two games, several Skyblocks have been made for Terraria. Our idea for this Terraria world was heavily inspired on Protosky, link in the description. Although Terraria is such a mechanically different game, there should still be a way to complete it with such few blocks. So of course, fresh out of playing Protosky, me and my friends started workshopping TerraBlock into existence.
Having played through Terraria Minecraft both vanilla and modded numerous times, we were on the hunt for a new challenge. Maybe we could try hardcore. Most of us already had though, and arbitrary difficulty isn't crazy interesting when repeated. We needed a challenge that changed how we approached progression of the game. Of course, the idea of a skyblock came up. A quick Google search, and sure enough, this is a thing people have done in Terraria, but they all look too easy. Sure, you were starting on an island, but it was practically just playing on a smaller world in most cases. The stakes needed to be higher. And as you know how the saying goes, you want something done right, you got a guy with 4,000 hours in the game on call and lose many hours of your own. Now, the most important thing with a skyblock, in our opinion, was to give us the minimum amount of resources required to beat the game and beating it regardless. So we made a graph outlining the steps required to kill the Moonlord and roll credits. Of course, this is only in theory. In practice, this would go terribly as you wouldn't be spending any time getting gear, and I don't even think the most seasoned Toho veterans can no-hit all the mentioned bosses, although I'd love to see that if anyone has. Now that we have the most general outline of Terraria progression, we need to break down each of these steps. To enter hard mode, we need the guide, which requires suitable housing, which means we need a table and chair, which is hard to get if you don't start with the tree. We would also need dirt to grow the trees. This was our first roadblock, because when we first came up with the idea, we assumed that the Dryad sold dirt, and this would be simple. But she sold a dirt rod, and to make matters worse, the merchant claims to sell dirt, but he doesn't. We needed mud for a jungle to beat the game later on. That was when a certain steampunker showed up in the depths of the Terraria wiki. Apparently, if you use the contaminator with green solution on mushroom grass blocks, it turns into jungle grass, for some reason. The green solution is sold by the steampunker when she's in almost any biome, so this works out well. Furthermore, mushroom grass can grow big mushrooms, which can be made into suitable NPC housing. We did still have one problem. We didn't have a consistent source of the mud or dirt for the biome to spread. But then we remembered, there is a way to place blocks without really having the blocks. If you mix a bomb with 25 dirt, you get a dirt bomb, whose explosion could yield a maximum of 57 dirt blocks, meaning that if we had a source of bombs, and one dirt bomb to start off with, we would have an infinite source of dirt, and therefore mud.
The other problem was gear. We may be good, but copper short swords aren't going to cut it for the wall of flesh, especially in master mode. Obviously, there's no ores to mine, and we couldn't get shadow scales or tissue samples, not to mention the lack of chests or pots. It seems like we have to rely on fishing as a source of gear for the start. But even that would get us so far. Even platinum armor usually gets replaced after Hellstone almost immediately in most runs. There is, however, one set of armor that we can get, being ancient shadow armor. It can be obtained by Eater of Souls in the Corruption. Of course, getting these biomes is a chore in and of itself, and possibly a story for another day. All you need to know is, through ample playtesting and workshopping, we can present to you TerraBlock, the most intense Terraria skyblock to date. Before this video ends, special thanks to Mr. Squee and MCPL Taco for helping me come up with this world. Also, huge thanks to Mr. Squee for helping me with the video. Also, check out his channel, linked in the description.